Thank you so much for joining tonight's lesson. Feel free to share the link so that you may invite a friend. Just click the share button so that you may invite a friend. They might be in a group, a school group that you know, or any other group that you share with them. Just send the link there in WhatsApp. They will be able to join us for the lesson. We're going to discuss mathematics paper 2. Remember, we are preparing for the Kcse examinations, and every question counts. Every revision program counts. So let nobody lie to you that you're wasting your time. Please feel encouraged to continue following to Shifting Grades and any other platform. Be reminded of our platform here, whereby you can purchase airtime from your M-Pesa to any line, Safaricom, Airtel, Telcom, by just going to the M-Pesa, Lipa na M-Pesa. Then the pay bill number is already displayed on the wall. Then the account number is the phone number that you're purchasing the airtime for. After you've entered the account number, which is the phone number, now you enter the amount, you complete the transaction, and the airtime shall reflect instantly. Be also reminded of our program here, one-on-one revision programs for the April holiday, whereby you just register through the number here, 0704 15 3366. Then we will keep in touch. You'll be in a position to get interaction with peer students, with experienced teachers in all the sciences and also in mathematics. Please make a step of reaching out for the registration. Thank you so much. Let's now get back to the paper for tonight. The cash price of a TV set is 25,000 Kenya shillings. A customer paid a deposit of 3,750 Kenya shillings. He repaid the amount owing in 25 equal monthly installments. If he was charged a simple interest at the rate of 40% per annum, how much was each installment? We're supposed to know something here, that whenever hire purchase is involved, after a deposit has been made, the balance that remains is usually paid in installments, which might be monthly. And now the total of these installments is usually higher than the balance that had remained after the deposit had been made on the cash price, meaning that the balance earned some interest. And that is what we want to calculate now. So I want is to say this, that this customer is going to repay in 25 monthly installments. Then we are told that there was a simple interest which was charged 40%. Therefore, what is the balance once the deposit of 3750 was made? What was the balance in Kenya shillings? This is 21,250. Now, this is the amount which is going to earn interest. This is the interest, this is the amount that shall earn interest. Therefore, we say the simple interest is usually given by principal times rate, which is a percentage, multiplied by time. Therefore, 21,250 at the rate of 40% per annum for 25 equal monthly installments. So in 25 equal monthly installments, we usually have 2 complete years there, because 24 months would give us 2 complete years. So we can multiply by 2 first for us to get the interest which was earned in the first 2 years, so that we may talk about now the 1 extra month. All right. So this one will be multiplied by 40 over 100, then multiplied by 2, giving us 17,000. So the simple interest here shall be 17,000. That is from the first 2 years. Then next, we will have 21,250 at the rate of 40%, multiplied by 1 month. So 1/12. 1/12. So that you may convert this extra month into years because the rate is per annum that way. So this is going to be 21,250 at the rate of 40% multiplied by 1/12. This gives us 708.33. Or 33 Kenya shillings, which can be expressed as 30, which is 30 cents. So we can talk about total interest, or simply the total balance paid. Total balance that will be paid after the 25 equal months. We shall have, it was initially 21,250. In the first 2 years, interest of 17,000 was earned. Then in the last 1 month, because the months were 25, we'll have 708.30. So at the end of the day, to the financial institution or to this business, the customer will be paying a total of 38,958 958.33 or 30 that way. So that is the amount in Kenya shillings which this customer will be paying at the end of all this period of 25 months. This means that because the installments are 25, then we can find each installment. So each installment shall be 38 out of 25 months. So when I divide by 25, we are getting 1,558.30. Yeah, that is the amount in each of the installments. Look at number 2. Simplify the root of 7 divided by root 7 minus the root of 3. This one is called a SAD, and we simplify by rationalizing the denominator. To rationalize the denominator is to multiply it by the conjugate, so that we have root 7 out of the root of 7 minus the root of 3. This one will be multiplied by the root of 7 plus the root of 3. That way, then it will also be multiplied up here. Sorry. It will also be multiplied up here so that the effect is balanced. We've not changed the meaning of this expression because the conjugate is multiplying both the numerator and the denominator. To multiply or to simplify the numerator now and the denominator becomes very easy, because on the numerator we just open brackets. The root of 7 times the root of 7, that becomes the root of 49 plus the root of 7 times the root of 3, which is root 21. This one will be divided by, now look at how a conjugate is opened. Trying to remember some quadratic identities, we know that whenever we have A minus B into A plus B, this one is called a factorized form of a difference of 2 squares. And when we expand, we should get A squared minus B squared. So that is a general identity when we talk about trigonometric expressions. So it's what we shall apply at the denominator, such that we just need the root of 7 squared minus the root of 3 squared. That means 7 minus 3. That way. Then look at the first term on the numerator. Remember the root of 9, the root of 49 is 7 plus the root of 21, because that one is a third, divided by 4. So now we have fully simplified the above expression, because at the end of the day, we can see at the denominator, we're not having any third. And that is the meaning of simplifying thirds. You ensure that at the denominator, there is no third. So even if the question remains, even if the expression at the end of the day is having thirds, the thirds should not be at the denominator. We rationalize it to a rational number. Look at number 3. In a transformation, an object with an area of 10 square centimeters is mapped onto an image whose area is 60 square centimeters. Given that the matrix of transformation is 4, x minus 1, 2, x, find the value of x. Okay, for us to find the value of x, there are a few things that we're supposed to know. And one of them is the determinant, actually the absolute value of the determinant of the matrix of transformation usually gives us what we call the area scale factor. So in this case, what is the area scale factor? When we take area of image out of area of object, we get area scale factor. Now that we are having the area scale factor for the image and object, then we can say that a determinant, which is usually given by product of the elements in the leading diagonal minus product of the elements in the other diagonal. So product leading diagonal is this one, the one with 4 and x. So determinant will be given by 4 by x minus product of elements in the other diagonal. The other diagonal is having 2, x minus 1 should give us 6. Now we can open the brackets and see what we will arrive at. 4x minus 2x positive 2 equivalent to, this is going to be 6. So that when we group terms, this shall be 2x equals to 4, because 2 shall be subtracted on the right-hand side. So to remain with x now, we have to divide through by the value, which is 2 there, and you get x equals to 2. That way. Well, number 4. Number 4 is a question on vector 2. The position vectors of points P and R are 4i plus 3j plus 2k and 3i minus 6j plus 6k respectively. Express vector PQ in terms of unit vectors I, j, and k. Hence, find the length of PQ correct to 2 decimal places. So this one is not R, sorry. This one should be Q. So we have vectors P and Q. So if we need vector PQ, then we need to talk about Q minus P. And from this, we need to express the vectors as a column vector. So Q becomes 3, negative 6, and 6. Then we subtract P, which is a 4, 3, 2. Then this vector PQ becomes a negative 1, all right, minus 9. I hope that subtraction is correct. Negative 6 minus 3. Then 6 minus 2, which is a 4. So vector P Q equals to negative I minus 9j plus 4k plus 4k. So we had to write it that way first. Then there is another demand statement there, whereby we needed to find the length. Another name of being told to find the length is find the magnitude, find the modulus or find the size, or the examiner can go to an extent of telling you to find. So the vector PQ is written like this, then 2 slashes. That means the magnitude of the vector. So this shall be given by, when we take -1 and we square, we take again negative, we add -9, also squared, we add 4, also squared, then we carry out the square root. So this shall be 1 squared plus -9 also squared plus 4 also squared, then we carry out the square root. This will be the square root of 98. Now look at the answer there, to 2 decimal places. So if there were no instructions about the 2 decimal places, we can simplify the third, root 98. We just simplify it. But now we need it in decimal places. So we have to find the square root, which becomes 9.899. Remember, 2 decimal places. So the second decimal place is a 9, which will be increased, and it increases to 10, meaning that we have to increase the next, which is a 8. Therefore, we shall have 9.90 units. Yeah, that way. So that's how we do it. I've said, without the instructions of 2 decimal places, actually, some other times you might be told to find the exact length, which means it could have been, we simplify this into 2 by 49. 2 multiplied by, or 49 by 2. And remember, 49, the root is known, then the root of 2 is not known. So this could have been the exact length, but now we needed it in 2 decimal places. So following the instructions is very key. You must solve until the final mark is attained. Remember to continue sharing the link with friends. Remember to continue inviting people to the broadcast. Remember to share this live lesson with your friends, please. So you can comment. Let's know where you're watching us from. Let's know whether you're getting something from the platform. You can comment freely. You can like, you can share. The mass of a mixture A of beans and maize is 72 kg. The ratio of beans to maize is 3:5. Actually, there was no necessity for the word respectively. It is not even necessary here, because we have already said beans to maize. So when you state it this way, it is so obvious that it should be maize having 5 proportions and beans, because they are the ones to be mentioned, having 3 proportions. So yeah, I think respectively there has been used wrongly. We didn't have, but anyway, it's an emphasis. Maybe a student doesn't know how to interpret ratios. The word respectively will help them. Okay, find the mass of maize in the mixture. Maize is taking 5 proportions out of a total of 8 proportions, and the total mass is 72. I've added 3 and 5 to get 8 proportions. Then maize is 5 over the total proportions, which are 8. Then we multiply this by 72. So the answer shall be 45 kg. That means, though this one we are already through with that, though this one has not been asked, that means that the beans shall be 3 over 8 multiplied by 72, giving us 27. This one is beans. Yeah, it's good to calculate all of them that way. Okay. Look at the second question now of part 5. A second mixture B of beans and maize of mass 98 is mixed with A. So we are getting 98 kilograms, whereby we are mixing second mixture of beans and maize of mass 98 is mixed with A. So mixture A is 72. The final ratio of beans to maize is 8:9. Find the ratio of beans to maize in mixture B. Okay, this one now we have to reason. We are mixing 98 with 72. 98 with 72, such that 98 with 72. Let me simplify this one very well. Total mass in the second mixture now. We are getting 98 plus 72. So 98 plus 72. This gives us 170 kg. 170 kg. Then we are supposed to ask ourselves that when we take the mass of beans, because beans is the one being mentioned in all the ratios. Beans are now 27 kg plus a known value divided by the maize, which are 45 plus. What are we adding to maize? You know, if we let, from the 98, if we let beans take X kilograms, then automatically, because the total was 98, then maize will take 98 minus the X above. Therefore, to the 45 of maize, we are adding 98 minus X, which is the beans. Now, this new ratio is giving us 8/9. Yeah, 8/9. Wow. I hope in that analysis we are together. We are taking a mixture which is very new. A mixture, we are getting a totally new mixture. 170 kgs. Whereby we know that in the new mixture that we are bringing in, there is both beans and maize. And beans, we have allocated X kg. Then maize should be the balance now, 98 minus X. That means in the 170, after adding A and B, in the 170, now we can talk about the 27, which are the initial kgs of beans, plus the new kgs, which are X, over the new mass of maize, which is initial 45 in mixture A, and in mixture B, 98 minus X. So this will give us the ratio now. Let's cross multiply, or before then, we can have 27 plus X out of, when we take 45 and we add 98, we'll get 143. Then there is minus X now. This is the same as 8/9. When we cross multiply, we will be able to group terms, and we will be in a position to find the value of X. So we are talking of 9 into 27 plus X equals to 8 into 143 minus X. Yeah, that way. This is maize. There. All right. 27 by 9 gives us 243 plus 9X equals to 8 by 143, 8 by 143. This gives us 1144 minus 8x that way. So we can group terms and have 17x. This is equal to 1144 minus 243, giving us 901. Okay. How can we find the value of x? We divide it through by 17. This gives us exactly 53. Exactly 53. Therefore, in this new mixture, which is mixture B, in this new mixture, beans are 53 kgs. Beans are the x now, which is 53, which means the mass of maize is 98 minus 53, and that is 45. So what are we finding? The ratio of beans to maize. So we will talk about 53 is to 45. I think the ratio cannot be simplified further. So the 98 kgs in mixture B are 53 beans, 45 maize. That way. That way. Number 6. Solve 2. The cosine of 2x equals to 1 for the value of x ranging between 0 and 360. Ladies and gentlemen, remember to subscribe. Remember to share with friends so that they may also benefit from our rich platform here. And for your information, our consultation line is 0704153366. That way. So in this question now, it's a trigonometric function whereby we can remain with, in the first step, the cosine of 2x as 1 over 2. That way, because of dividing by 2 through. We divide by 2, we divide by 2. So 2 cancels from that side. Then the other side becomes a half that way. So if the value of cos 2x equals to a half, then we can find a certain acute angle that we will work with, such that this acute angle equals to the cos inverse of half. And this acute angle shall be shift cos in your calculator, half, shift cos, then you write half. This is going to be 60 degrees. So we are working with an acute angle of 60 degrees. There's something that we're supposed to ask ourselves here. Something that we're supposed to ask ourselves, and this is the thing. Cosine of 2x is positive. Therefore, apart from 60, there is another possible angle which can still give us the same cosine of a half. Therefore, we go to what we call the unit circle. The unit circle, the 4 quadrants of the unit circle. Yeah, the 4 quadrants. This is the x-axis, the y-axis. All students take coffee. This is to mean in the first quadrant, all trigonometric ratios are positive. All of them. In the second, it is only sines which are positive. In the third, it is only tangents, tan, which are positive. And finally, cosine alone is positive in the fourth quadrant. So the angle is first measured as theta in the first quadrant. Then the same angle in the second quadrant is usually measured as 180 minus theta. In the third quadrant, the angle is measured as 180 plus theta. And in the fourth quadrant, 360 minus theta, that way. Therefore, now ours is to identify the quadrant where cosine is positive, and that is in the first, whereby we will say the value of 2x is equal to 60 in the first quadrant, and also 60 measured in the fourth quadrant, which is 360 minus 60, automatically give us 300 that way. Now, apart from this, there are other possible angles, and that is with 60, which is the first angle, when we make a complete cycle of 360 and we add to the first acute angle of 60, we will get 440. Now, all the trigonometric ratios of 440 will behave as the trigonometric ratios of 60 in the first quadrant. Then 360 plus the second angle, which is 300, we get 660. Now, 660 will behave the same as 300. And we can continue listing them. From 300, we go to 420, we make a complete cycle of 360, giving us 780. That way, we can continue with the chain of listing all these possible values of 2x. So the value of x is, when we divide now each particular angle by 2, the first one is 30, the second one is 150, third one is 210, the fourth one is 330, the fifth one, 780 over 2. This becomes 390. And according to the limit provided here, you discover that 390 now has exceeded our limit. Therefore, we stick to this number of angles. So these are the angles which are going to satisfy the equation provided. That way. Let's get to number 7. In number 7, we are told that a particle was moving along a straight line. The acceleration of the particle after t seconds was given by 9 minus 3t meters per second squared. The initial velocity of the particle was 7 meters per second. Calculate the velocity v of the particle at any given time t. All right, this is from an application of integration and differentiation in kinematics, or rather in calculation of distances, velocities, and accelerations. We're supposed to know a few things here, that when we have displacement function, we usually differentiate it. Differentiating displacement s against time t, we usually get velocity function. Then when we get the velocity function, we can differentiate the velocity function with respect to time to get acceleration function. That way. Then in the reverse process now, with acceleration function, we can integrate acceleration a with respect to time for us to get velocity function. And we can also integrate velocity with respect to time for us to get displacement. So that is usually the relationship between these functions. Now, in this question, we are given acceleration function. Then there are two languages here that I want us to conclude them. Initial velocity. When you hear the word initial velocity means velocity when time was 0. What velocity did this particle take off with? So v equals to 7 meters per second. This is when let me write it well. When the value of t was equal to 0. That is what it means by initial velocity. So we are now supposed to find the velocity function. And how do we get velocity function? By either differentiating displacement function with respect to time, or by integrating acceleration function with respect to time. So which function are we given? Acceleration function. So for us to get velocity function, generally, the velocity function now will be given by the integral of 9 minus 3t. This is going to give us, when we integrate at this point, to be 9, and we introduce t. Then in the other side, it will be negative 3. Then t becomes squared because it's already there, and power 1. And the new power divides here. So we'll have 3 over 2, t squared. Then plus the arbitrary constant of integration, c. So velocity v equals to 9t minus 3 over 2 t squared plus c. Now, there is a condition provided that the value of velocity equals to 7 when time t equals to 0. This is to mean we can say that velocity v equals to 7 when t is 0. So 0 squared plus c. So that we get the value of this arbitrary constant, which is now concluded to be 7. So the constant is found, which means now we can give the specific velocity function by saying that velocity equals to 9t minus 3 out of 2 t squared plus 7. That's way. Yeah, this way. So that is the velocity function for this particular particle. I hope you guys are still following, subscribing, learning something, commenting, inviting friends. Let's make the program more interactive. Mention that you're learning something. Mention that you are inviting schoolmates and friends from even other schools, because I know you interact a lot with people who you don't even school in the same environment, but you know one another. Solve the equation logarithm of x minus 1 plus 2 equals to the logarithm of 3x plus the logarithm of 25. We're finding x in this case because it is the unknown. So what you're supposed to know is that whenever the base in a given logarithmic function has not been provided, it's always advisable for you to introduce base 10. And that is what I've been encouraging my learners to do. So I want to solve this one with the introduction of base 10. And I know you can even use other methods whereby you don't have to introduce base 10. But this one is more appropriate and more reliable formula than any other approach. Look at it this way. The log to base 10, x minus 1 plus 2 equals to the log of base 10, 3x plus 2 plus the logarithm to base 10 of 25. It's that way. Now with this, we can introduce a few laws of logarithms. One, there is a law that says the logarithm of a number to the same base is usually 1, which means because we have already introduced base 10 in this equation, then where there is a constant 2, we can introduce logarithm of 10 to base 10 at the same point, such that we will not have changed anything. This way, plus 2, the log of 10 to base 10. This is equal to the log to base 10 of 3x plus 2 plus logarithm to base 10 of 25. That way. So now with this, we can apply. I want us to go step by step don't want us to rush in the application of any law. So that is the first law we are applying. We shall use, by the way, around 3 as we finish up the question. So that was law number 1 to be applied. I want us to apply the second law, which says whenever we have a certain scalar multiple times the log of a number, this one is usually the same as log of the number a raised to the multiplier there. The second law to be applied, and we will apply it on the second term, such that we will have the log to base 10 of x minus 1 plus the log to base 10 of 10 squared. This is equal to the log to base 10, 3x plus 2, plus the logarithm to base 10 of 25. That way. So after this, now we can apply the last law. Remember, 10 squared at this point, 10 squared is 100. So you have seen how the law has been applied there. So we can apply the third law, which says whenever we have the logarithm, let's say to base a of b plus the logarithm of c to the same base of a, we take the logarithm to base a, then b and c are multiplied. That way. So with this now, we can start summarizing this. Can start summarizing this thing. Can start summarizing it. So the log to base 10 of 100 should multiply x minus 1 that way. Then this is equal to the log to base 10. Then on the right hand side, 25 multiplies 3x plus 2. That way. Yeah, that way. Then now we can drop logarithms, not even canceling, dropping logarithms. Then we equate the left hand side and the right hand side. We solve. This shall be 100 x minus 100 equals to 75. When you multiply 25 by 3, x plus 50. We can now group a few terms together. X grouped together shall be 25x, then 150. So the value of x shall be, when we take 150 divided by 25, this gives us exactly 6. So the value of x equals to 6 in this question. Wow, a very interesting item. Very interesting. Very interesting. Number 9, use the expansion x minus y raised to the power of 5 to evaluate 9.8 power 5 correct to 4 decimal places. Remember that when we have been taught to use the expansion here, then we are going to give the full expansion. In this case, allow me first of all show you how to come up with the Pascal's coefficients of a given power. We know that when a certain binomial expansion has been raised to power 2, we usually have the coefficients as 1, 2, and 1. That is when the power is 2. When the power is 3, we start with 1, then 1 plus 2, 3. 2 plus 1, we get 3. Then we end with 1 again. Yeah. When the power is 4, we repeat the same process of developing the Pascal's triangle. Remember, we start with 1, then 1 plus 3 is a 4, 3 plus 3 is a 6, and 3 plus 1 is 4, then 1 again. Then for power 5, we proceed with the same. We start with 1, then 1 plus 4 is 5, 4 plus 6 is 10, 6 plus 4 is 10, 4 plus 1 is 5, then 1 once again. So you can continue like that until you get all the coefficients that you need, depending on the power. So now we begin with the powers of 5. So the coefficients, when a certain binomial is raised to power 5, are 1, then 5, then 10, then 10 again, then we have 5, and finally 1. It's good for you to remember that all these coefficients of power 5, power 6, power 7, power anything, they can still be read from the 4 figure tables. I think in page 28, somewhere there. Now we are expanding x minus y raised to power 5. So we begin with the first term is x raised to the full power of 5. The negative y is raised to power 0 in the first term. In the next term, we'll have x being raised to power 4, but negative y takes 1. Remember, at every term, the two powers must add up to 5. So we had 5 and 0, total is 5. Now we are having 4 and 1, total is still 5. Remember, as the powers of x decrease, the powers of negative y should start increasing from 0 now to 1. Then in the next, we'll have the powers of x. Sorry, let me write it well. The powers of x going down to 3, the powers of negative y raising up to 2. The powers of x going down further to y to 2, then the powers of negative y increasing to 3. The powers of x coming to 1, the powers of negative y increasing to 4. And finally, as the powers of x change to 0, the power of negative y should increase up to 5 that way. So that is how we handle a binomial expansion. The next now is just to expand. All right. Let me check a different ink. Okay. 1 multiplied by x power 5 multiplied by y power 0. Anything power 0 is 1. So if anything power 0 is 1, then in the first term, we are having 1 times x power 5 times 1 again. So this is a x power 5, simple that way. So from all this, we are getting x power 5 because negative y power 0 is 1. All right. In the next term, x power 4 becomes x power 4. Then negative y power 1 remains the way it is. So at the end of the day, we'll be having a negative introduced here, such that you have negative 5, x power 4, and y power 1. The next, when y, which is negative, power 2, we will have the negative cancelling now, because negative y by negative y becomes positive y squared. So this is a 10, and x power 3, and y squared. The next, when negative y is raised to power 3, it shall retain the negative, because negative y by negative y cancels the negative. But when we multiply by a third negative y, the third negative y now brings again back the negative that way. 10, x power 2, y power 3. This one will be positive because y, which is negative, is to power 4. When the powers are even, there is always a negative to cancel another one. Every negative has another one to cancel it. But when they are odd, one negative is left suspended. So here we will have 5 now, x power 1 to y power 4. And finally, negative 1 multiplied by x power 0 becomes 1. Then we shall have y power 5 at that point. Now we are having the full expansion. We have the full expansion. Now what remains is applying this expansion to find the value of 9.8 power 5. So 9.8 power 5 should be equated to x minus y power 5 that way. Then allow me say this, because the powers are the same, we can equate the bases. X minus y equals to 9.8. Now we are going to split 9.8 into the nearest integer to 9.8, which is a 10, such that x minus y becomes 10. 10 we must subtract something from 10 for us to get 9.8. So 10 minus 9.8 is a 0.2. Yeah, that is it. So we first establish the nearest integer to 9.8 or to whatever decimal is provided. Then we now check, because the sign we are having is a minus, what must be minused from 10 to give us 9.8? It is a 0.2. Now with this, we can make a few resolutions that x corresponds with 10 and negative y corresponds with negative 0.2. So y positive becomes 0.2 because it is negative y for negative 0.2. Then the y is 0.2. Now, because we've known the values of x and y, we now take back to the expansion and replace them, or rather substitute them. 10 power 5 minus 5, 10 power 4, and y, which is a 0 power 2, then positive 10, 10 power 3, 0.2 power 2 minus 10, then 10 power 2, 0.2 raised to power 3, then plus 5, x, which is a 10, then 0.2 raised to power 4, and finally minus 0.2 power 5. Yeah, 0.2 power 5. So the whole of this expansion should be put into the calculator just the way it is. So you open brackets very carefully. We start by 10 power 5 in the calculator, then minus. After writing 5, you open brackets, 10 power 4. 10, you close brackets, power 4. You open brackets again immediately. 0.2, you close. Plus 10, open brackets. 10 power 3, close, open again, 0.2, close, you square, minus 10, you open brackets, 10, close brackets, squared, open brackets, 0.2, close brackets, cubed, plus 5, open brackets for 10 and close, then open brackets for 0.2 and close, so that you may raise to power 4, minus, open brackets, 0.2, close brackets, power 5. So you must put into the calculator exactly the way it is. This is supposed to take us to exactly 90,392.07968. 07968. Do we have some instructions about the accuracies? Yes. 4 decimal places. 90,392.079. Instead of 6, which is our 4th decimal place, we consider the number to the right, which is 8. 8 can increase 6, so it makes it a 7. It makes it a 7 that way. Okay, number 10, which is a question on a loci. That's book for work. The figure below is a triangle PQR. We can see the triangle. On the triangle, locate the locus of points equidistant from PR and PQ. PQ and PR. Then the locus of points which are 6 centimeters from R. Okay, let's interpret the first locus, which is the locus of points equidistant from P, R, and PQ. When you hear points equidistant from 2 given lines, it is usually the locus of the perpendicular, not perpendicular, sorry, the angle bisector of the angle between the two mentioned lines. So PR and PQ are meeting at P. So the bisector of this angle at P is the one which will give us points equidistant from PR and also equidistant from PR and Q. Yeah, so we bisect the angle. We stand at P, we make an arc, we make an arc again. Standing on those arcs, we make an arc, we make another arc. Then now we produce the bisector that we are told to produce. So this is the bisector. Let me draw it very keenly. That way, that is the locus. Then there is another locus that we've been told to draw. The locus of points, 6 centimeters. 6 centimeters from R. The locus of points, which are at a given distance from a given fixed point, is usually a circle, whereby the radius is the number of units mentioned there. So locus of all points, which are 6 centimeters from R, is a circle, R the center, and 6 the radius. So we measure a radius. We measure a radius of 6 centimeters. Then we stand at R. Then we draw the circle. So standing at R, we draw a circle, a complete circle for that matter. We use a different ink at this point. Remember, I'm not having a good canvas for the screen. Therefore, this one, you will allow me to estimate. This one, you will allow me to just estimate 6 centimeters. Yeah, so I'm just, yeah, roughly, that is the circle locus that you are intended to come up with. You're already having 2 marks for interpreting each of the locus. Look at B. Shade the region K inside the triangle. So 2 instructions. Which is less than 6. Less than 6 centimeters. So less than 6 centimeters means for the circle, we shade the inner side, because beyond the circle, that's greater than. Then nearer to PQ than PR. So nearer to PQ means that the region should be nearer to the side where there is PQ than PR. So the upper side of this common region here. So that is the region that we are calling T. Region T will be there. Please use your own book if you manage to print this paper, and make sure you come up with such a beautiful locus. Now we must go to number 11 now. Ringer boys, Kcse intend to decorate teacher's feeding tent by subdividing a decorating ribbon into 7 equal parts. She approximated 1 out of 7 to 0.14 meters. Calculate the percentage error in the approximation. Very interesting is that the first whole sentence will not be applied anywhere. Actually, even the language of dividing into 7 equal parts, that one is not going to be applied anywhere. Now, mathematics begins the second last sentence, whereby we are told that a length of 1/7 meters is being approximated to 0.7. That is where an error is made. Calculate the percentage error in that approximation. So we have to get the error first by saying that error is usually given by actual value minus estimated value. Estimated value. Then we calculate the error first. Actually, we should get the absolute value. You know, any can be greater than the other. We can have the estimated value being greater than actual value. So after subtracting, in case you find a negative now, you just take the absolute value. So you can approximate something above the actual or below. So we are just intended on our focus is on the difference. So when we take 1/7, 1 out of 7, and we subtract 0.14, we are getting 2.8. 2.857 times 10 to the power of -3. So the next thing is, how do we get percentage error? Percentage error is usually given by error over actual value expressed as a percentage. So 2.857 times 10 to the power of -3 should be divided by 1/7, which is the actual value. Then this multiplied by 100. Now you use your calculator very wisely. If you had subtracted and your value is still in the calculator, you'll have to divide by 1/7, then multiply by 100. This is giving us exactly 2. So if you use the actual values, you will get 2%. So that is the error expressed as a percentage. Wow, this is it. Very good. Remember consultation line 0704, sorry, 153366. This is the phone number that you can WhatsApp, call, SMS for your assistance. Now to number 12. A staircase was built such that each subsequent stair has a uniform difference in height. The height of the 6th stair from the horizontal was 85 centimeters, and the height of the 10th stair was 145. Calculate the height of the first stair and the uniform difference in height of the stairs. Therefore, this staircase is having the stairs decreasing in height. You can move from let me show you. Let me try to draw. You know, a stair is here. That's why you are stepping from the ground. It's the ground, then you step on a stair. Now the next one, instead of having the same height, it's increasing such that it's a bit bigger. Then after this one, the next one increases more. Therefore, the heights of these stairs are differing. They are differing. So we are saying that because of the common difference and not a common ratio, this one is an arithmetic sequence. Now, in arithmetic sequence, we talk about a first term A and a common difference D. Then there is a term now, the first term or even nth term. Certain term is usually given by first term plus n minus 1 multiplied by the common difference. So the 6th term, which is the 6th stair, is 85 centimeters. This is equal to the first length, which is not known, into 6 minus 1 multiplied by the known common difference. You know, this will be 85 equals to A plus 5D, equation 1. Then equation 2 will be generated from the 10th. The 10th stair is going to be 145, which is equal to the first length unknown, 10 minus 1, multiplied by the common difference unknown. 145 equals to A, 9D seconds, that way. So now we are having two equations here. These two equations, because they are relating to the same progression, they can be solved simultaneously. So we take the first equation equals to A plus 5D. The second one, 145 equals to A plus 9D. To solve simultaneously, we can be more faster if we use the elimination method. Reason being, the coefficients of A are already the same. So eliminating A becomes very easy. So 85 minus 145, giving us negative 60, equals to 5D minus 9D. That gives us negative 4D. So when we divide through by 4, we shall get D being 12. Reason because the negatives are already simplifying out. Now that we have the value of D, which is the common length, so it is the common difference in height. The common difference in height, we can find the first term. And for this, we shall use any of the equations. When we go to first equation, 85 equals to A plus 5D, 5 into 12, that way. So 5 by 12 should give us 60. So that remain with A. We have to take 85 minus 60, giving us 25. This is the first length, the first stair, length of the first stair, that way. So that is application on sequences and series from 3 work. Again, from 3 work, in number 13, the diameter of a circle center O as it ends at M, -6, -1, 6, and N, 5, -2. Find the equation of the circle in the form x squared plus y squared plus ax plus by equals to c. A, B, and C are all constants. Now there is a different question which can tell you whereby A, B, and C are all integers. So you must be very keen with the instructions. Now looking at this, we are given the ends of a diameter. Length of a diameter. A diameter is this way. Is the diameter. This is a coordinate of M, which is a -1, 6. Then the coordinate of N, which is a 5, -2. Now, with the ends of the diameter, at the center, at the middle point of that diameter, we can have our center O. So the coordinates of center O will be calculated the way we calculate the coordinates of the midpoint of a given vector. So given 2 points, we can find their midpoint coordinate, whereby we need the first x plus the second x, which is 5, divided by 2. The first y plus the second y, also over 2. So the coordinates of 0 shall be -1 plus 5, which is 4, over 2, we get 2. Then 6 plus -2, we get 4. Over 2, we also get 2 again. So the center of this circle is coordinate 2, 2. Coordinate 2, 2. Now, what we are supposed to ask ourselves next is, are we able to find the radius, this particular circle? And the answer is yes. This can be found in 2 possible ways. You can find the length of M to N, and that will be that will be the diameter. Then you have to divide it by 2. Or you find the length from M to the center, or from O to N, from the center to N, that will be radius. So you can find radius directly, or you find diameter for 2. Any will work. Let's choose calculating from O to N. From O to N. So from O to N, you can find the number of units down here. Along the Y, we are changing from 2 to -2, and that is 4 units. Then from X, we are changing from 2 to 5. That means 3 units there. So what will be the radius up there now? Radius is going to be, when we take 4 squared, 3 squared, we take the square root. This is going to give us exactly 5 units. 5 units of the radius. Okay, with that knowledge now, we can find the equation of the circle. To find the equation of the circle, we need to take point X minus the X coordinate of the center, which is a 2 squared, plus Y minus the Y coordinate of the center, which is also 2 squared. This is equal to the radius, also squared. That way, we can expand now. X squared minus 4x plus 4, then plus y squared minus 4y plus 4. This is equal to 25. So now we can arrange the equation to take the format up there, whereby we begin with x squared plus y squared. Then the term with x is a -4x. The term with y is -4y. Then now the constants should be taken to the other side. Taking the constants to the other side to be 25, we subtract 4 and we subtract the other 4, such that we have 17 on this side. So now we have the equation of this circle, and the equation has been given in the format according to the instructions. That way. So we have the equation of the circle. Let's talk about number 14. Ringer boys. Billboard is rectangular in shape with length and width 3x plus 12 centimeters, x minus 4 centimeters respectively. The diagonal of the billboard is 200 centimeters. Determine its area. What you should know about these word problems is that trying to sketch the information makes the work very simple. So we can put this instruction about the billboard of Ringer Boys in a, can put it in a diagram. Try to interpret slowly. We are even given the diagonal. Remember that. The rectangle, remember, we are having right angles at these points. So now the length is equivalent to 3x plus 12. The width, x minus 4. The diagonal, 200. That way. So we can treat, we have a billboard A, B, C, D, whereby I can now treat the triangle BCD because it's right angled. I use it together with Pythagoras theorem for me to find the value of x. So from this, I can say, according to Pythagoras theorem, when we take 3x plus 12 and we square, then we add x minus 4, also squared, we should get the diagonal, or the hypotenuse for this case, squared. That way. So when we square here, we shall get 9x squared plus 3 by 12 by 2, giving us 72. X plus 144. Then plus In the second bracket, x squared minus 2 by 1 by negative 4, negative 8x plus 16. This is equal to 400. This is now a quadratic equation whereby we need to group terms together first. We have x squared and 9x squared. That becomes 10x squared. Then 72 and negative 8. That gives us 64 positive. That's x. Then we have 144. We also having 16, but we have to subtract 400. We get negative 240. This is equal to 0. So this equation now has to be solved quadratically. We can solve using several approaches. There are very many methods. We can use the quadratic formulae, but the equation can still be made more simple by dividing by 2 through. This will be 5x squared plus 32x minus 120 equals to 0 that way. It's a simple equation, and it will give us the same roots. So we can use any of the many formula now. Yeah, any of the many formulae to get the value of x. Allow me use the quadratic formula, which says the value of x is given by negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, everything divided by twice the value of a. So the value of b in the above equation is 32. So negative 32 plus or minus the square root of, when we take b squared, that should be 32. We square it. We are getting a 1024. Then there is minus 4 into a is 5 and c is also negative 120, giving us positive 2400. So it changes to a positive, divided by 2 multiplied by a, which is a 5. So that gives us 10. We can continue solving. Yeah. Here we can say negative 32, then plus or minus. We talk about 1024 and 2400. We get 3424. When we take square root, I'm getting 58.51. Then this is out of 10. So we can get the two possible values of x, whereby we take negative 32 plus 58.51, then we divide by 5, we divide by 10. This gives us 2 point. 2 point. All right, these values are becoming a little bit too small because I'm getting 2.6. Maybe we check our equation. Yeah, let's check whether we are doing an error somewhere. Let's check that, please. Allow me take you a little bit back. Let's just confirm. We might be correct actually, but let's just check where maybe there could be an issue. And thank you for your patience. You can also be trying the same equation. You can also mention something on the comment section. Let's know whether the brackets have been opened very well. Even the squaring. When we square 200, we should have gotten 40,000. I think that's where we made the first mistake. Yeah. So please let me correct now there. So our original, after expanding, we should be talking about this 8x plus 16, and this is the same as 40,000. Yeah, because 2,000 to 200 has to be squared. I think I squared 2 alone, and I said 400. That was the error that I made. Sorry for that. Okay, let's now proceed. Let's now proceed with the grouping of terms now. Yeah, grouping of terms will give us 10x. 10x that way. Plus 64x. Then now we will talk about 144 plus 16 minus 40,000, giving us negative 39,840. Then now we remain with a 0 that way. So now we are having, I hope now this is the correct question now. So let's now solve this one now. Sorry for that inconvenience. All right. I had already written the quadratic formula, x being given by the negative value of b plus or minus when we take square root of b squared minus 4ac, and everything divided by 2 multiplied by the value of a. Now from our equation, the negative value of b should be negative 64. Let me not even simplify it. We use it, the raw equation, plus or minus the square root of b squared, that means 64 squared, giving us 4096. 4096. Then minus, so I write that in the calculator now, minus 4 multiplied by a, which is 10, multiplied by negative 39,840. This gives us positive 1,593,600. Then divided by 2, multiplied by the value at a, which is 10. So when we talk about a, we mean 10. When we talk about b, 64. When we talk about c, the whole of this constant together with the sign behind it. Negative 64 plus or minus. When we add those two, 4096, then we take square roots. I'm getting exactly 1264. So the square root of the summation there is 1264. Then I have to divide this one now by 20. You can get the first value of x as, when we take negative 64 plus 1264, I'm getting 1200 over 20. I'm getting 60. Then the second value of x shall be, when I take negative 64 and I subtract, because you said the square root can either have the positive or the minus. 1264, I'm getting negative 1328. Then this has to be divided by 20 also to give us negative 66.4. Remember, we are dealing with length. Therefore, we cannot talk about a negative length. So we ignore this second value and we work with 60, the first value. Now with x as 60, we can find the exact dimensions of the rectangle now. So this rectangle will be measuring, when we take x minus 4, that is 60 minus 4, we will have 56 here. Then on the length, it will be 3 into x, which is 60, then plus 12. That will give us 192. Yeah, 192. That will determine its area of the billboard. So for this particular billboard now, area shall be 192 by 56. In other words, length times width. So 192 multiplied by 56, giving us 10,752 square centimeters. That way, square centimeters, yeah. So that is the area, the billboard. Look at number 15. The second last question. We are winding up. The data below shows the ages in months at which 6 babies started walking. 9, 11, 12, 13, 11, and 10. Find the exact variance. Look at this. Exact variance. Okay, let's work it out. I'll tell you the meaning of exact as we finish up with the question. So the first thing that you calculate is the mean. The mean will be, these are 6 babies. So 9, 11, 12, 13, 11, and 10. Then we divide by 6 babies. So 9 plus 11 plus 12 plus 13 plus 11 once again and plus 10. Then we divide by 6. I'm getting 11. So the mean is 11. So we're supposed to get deviations from the mean. Deviations from the mean, which are given by each value minus the mean. How each value varies from the mean. So the first deviation will be when we take 9 minus 11, that's a -2. The next one should be 11 minus 11, giving a deviation of 0. Then 12 minus 11, giving a deviation of 1. 13 minus 11, deviation of 2. 11 minus 11, a deviation of 0. And 10 minus 11, a deviation of -1. So these are the deviations. So for us to get variance, S squared. Variance is abbreviated S squared. We need summation of all the deviations squared divided by total number. So -2 squared plus 0 squared plus 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 0 once again squared plus the -1 squared. Then we have to divide everything by 6. That's what we call variance. So this is a 4 plus a 0 plus 1 plus 4 plus 0 plus again 1. This is 10 out of 6. 10 out of 6. 10 over 6. So the exact variance will be when we take 10 over 6, we are getting 1 and 2/3. 1 and 2/3. That is the exact variance. So the word exact will mean that a student will get penalized if they write 1.667. This one, even if you have given a recommended accuracy of 4 significant figures, this is a rounded off value. But 1 and 2/3 is exact. The only way you can score it at the decimal point is when you write, actually this can be written as 1.6, then you indicate, you show recurring, indicate recurring, that's so accuracy. So the meaning of exact is giving the exact answer without round-offs and without truncations. So that is it. That's how we get variance given data. In case you'd been taught to find standard deviation, you would have gotten the square root of this value. Finally, in the section 1, there is a number 16, part A. In the figure below, lines NA and NB represents tangents to a circle at points A and B. Use a ruler and a pair of compasses only to construct the circle. So the circle is having the tangents drawn here. The tangents are from an external point N, and they are touching the circle at N, at A, at B. Something that we're supposed to know from the general knowledge that we have is that is that radius to a circle is usually perpendicular to the tangent at the point where the tangent touches the circle. So if a circle that we don't know is touching tangent AN at point A, then the radius to this particular circle is perpendicular to the tangent at point N. And so what do we do with a ruler and a pair of compass only? We construct a tangent that will pass through A. So we are just supposed to stand at A. We make arcs. Standing at A again, we make other arcs such that when we connect this through A, we'll get the radius of the circle. Get the radius of the circle. So this one, this line is the circle because it's the radius of the circle because the radius of the circle should be perpendicular to the tangent at a given point. Then something else that we're supposed to know, the same circle is having a radius that is perpendicular to the tangent at point N, at point B now, at point B. So we again draw at B this way. Then we make some other arcs that way, such that if we join them to B, we shall get radius. So a radius to the circle would pass through B perpendicularly. A radius to the same circle would pass through A perpendicularly. So with those two perpendiculars now, it means we can stand at the point where they are intersecting. We call this one a point A. Then we use the radius OA, which is the same as OB, for us to draw the circle. So the circle will touch very comfortably. Yeah, remember, I'm just doing an estimation of this since my instruments cannot work so perfect on the screen. So I just want you to see what you expect. So you are expecting such a thing. Now that is the circle that the examiner wanted you to come with. Then now you measure the radius of the circle. So you can measure it very conveniently. The length of the radius will be equal to OA, which is just the famous OB. So that's how we get to construct that. Thank you so much for being around. Remember to subscribe to this platform. Remember to share the link with friends. Invite people. The lesson will still be available after this live through the same link. So sharing the same link, you will have helped a friend. Remember our programs here, whereby you can reach out through our number here. Yeah, you can reach out through our number very conveniently for your programs. I am sure you're going to be impacted positively. So reach out through the number attached there, and we shall grow together. Thank you so much. See you next time.